Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. And yes, my desk is a mess. I've got all kinds of stuff on here. I'm going to be showing you today how I did this, the fold out that you wanted to see. I had very many people said that they were interested in seeing how this fold out worked. And so I'm going to be going over that today. And then we're going to be finishing this journal as well. Where did I get to? I think I got right here. And there's not much left, just a couple pages. This is basically just a pocket. It came from the kit that I used. I think it was The Secret Garden by the Journal Boat. This came from a scrapbook pad that I had. It's a very tall tag. It's about 8.5. So it takes the whole length there. But I thought it could be used like a bookmark. And as you can see, I covered the back with pink. And I sewed around it. That's when my sewing machine was working pretty decent. But then I just put a little bit of something here for memories. And then this was a letter that had, it has a piece from another scrapbook that had something to do with gardening. So I thought that was kind of cute to stick in there. And that goes right back here. And then our last page, it's kind of a tight fit, but it goes, is this one. Now, Gayle Agostinelli does these pockets, and I'm trying to remember what she calls these pockets. Braided pockets. I think she calls these a braided pocket. So if you was to get on her channel, you can put that in the search box, and it should come up with this. But what it is this piece of paper goes all the way over to here. Let me measure this. I was making some to put into my journals at one time, and then you know how you get to doing something else, and I just got out of the habit. But it's about 4.5 square. Yeah, it's 4.5 square. So each piece is like 2 1/4. So you're going to cut a 4.5 by 2 1/4 strip of paper in either 2 different styles or 4 different styles. It just depended on how you wanted to go about doing it. And then what you did, when you glued them together, I think you were only gluing like the edges, like this edge that's on top of this other piece. That's what you were gluing there. Then you put this piece under this one, and you're going to glue here. And then this piece here you glue. And I think that's about how you did it. It was wherever the two would meet, in other words, you know. You can make it into a pocket, which I did here with my... And then this guy, he's going in my almanac journal. A few of these things are going to go in there that has to do with seeds and planting and all that kind of stuff. So, and then what you did is you made a tag. And I think the deal was it was something the way she did it. She had a little piece left over, and that's what she cut a tiny, tiny tag out of. But I wanted mine to have these seed packets in there that I got from a kit that I bought from Scrapbooking with Me. They were the old-timey kind of seed pouches or packets, and I thought they were really pretty. That's got the morning glories on it. So, yeah. And that's what I did there. Of course, I put another one over here. I think I was just trying to use them all up. And then this was a little rub-on in gold. And then we get to the end. And that was it. This is her, what do you call it? Her writing board. So I made a writing board, several layers of probably cat food container. That's usually the way I made them. And then, oh, this was scraps. Here's another small pocket that I had made from where we were eating out, and we'd get these little tiny doilies at this one place under our soup. So I glued that down, and then I glued a couple of little fussy cuts down underneath of there. And then this is my little scrap thing. So I'd been seeing all these people do scrapbooks. So that's what this became. It was like little pieces that was left over from some of the papers that I'd used inside. And what she was to do with this is she could take and create her own little pocket, a little tag, whatever she would want to make. And a little cluster, anything like that. Like that's got the pretty flower vegetable garden on it. And then it was just this piece of paper on the back, which was another scrap. So you know, you could make one of these up to give somebody with their journal, and it would make a great gift. It could go in a note, like you wanted to give them a notebook, like they like to keep lists or something like that, and you wanted to prettify it up and put a little bit of color to it. You can make them a little scrapbook like that, and they could use those papers throughout. It can maybe be inspirational words added into there, little stickers that they might want to put through their book, things like that. It doesn't have to be set in stone exactly how to make it. That's the beauty of it. It can always be different. Okay, so I'm going to probably try to reassemble this file folder the way I did it. Now, when I cut it, I like to cut it on that fold where it's already made. I like to do that. And then this was one of the sides, like this. And then this was the top up here. And then this was the rest of this. Yeah, the rest of this side. There we go. So it was exactly like that. And I cut it this way because I wanted to get that fold that was already pre-made into it. Now this, I'm probably at the end going to link a video on what I did with some of these leftover file folder pieces like I had like this. I made a cool little booklet out of it. So I thought you might like to see that. So we'll do that later. Now with this, of course you can see Kermit on there. That's where we always go and research. Now with this, I may keep it and I may use it as a tab to put on the outside like that. That's going to hang out. Or I could use this as well and just round out this side here. And then cut it down from that. It could be where I actually, I'm thinking on my feet here, girls and guys. Thinking on my feet. Now, it could be where I do something like that and also have an extra pocket situation. Let's think about that. And the way I wanted to decorate this is, sorry, is I have a bunch of napkins here that are going to be used over top of some paper. I need to still pull my paper out that I want to use for here, but this is going to be for the Farmer's Almanac Journal. So I pick things out like this is, of course, what do you call that? All right, it's what all the hankies are made out of. So anyhow, I have that. I have this big sunflower, and it's got a little bit of black in it. So I thought it kind of went with that. I've got a chicken here that has a lot of the black. The rotisserie part, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be able to do that part because it's going to get cut one way or the other. So that might be a situation where I cut that part off and use it some other way. But I have a couple of chickens on here. And of course I don't want to redo the same old. But with a napkin you get 4 of each. So you're good. You're doing good. I have a little Jeep or a car, truck, whatever you want to call it. Here, it's got a little bit of yellow in it. And it's got the blue. I don't really have anything with blue, but of course, you know, gingham check is really farm related as well. So we have this chicken. I don't know if we will need him, but I've got him. Then I have these stamp sets, which this one has a moo. It's got the cluck, oink. It's got all the different animals. Farm Fresh is on there. Eat, drink, and be thankful. That kind of thing. So I can go through that. The next two are May Made It. Now, she had this one kit. It's called Howdy Pumpkin. And, of course, it's got the word howdy in it. It's got a few pumpkins. It's got a little bucket. Some grass, maybe. I don't know how much of that I'm going to use. Now, this one's got the tractor, the windmill, the silo, the barn, the doors. This is a great kit. Now, this one is called Farmtastic. It's a great kit. If you're wanting to make something with farms, you got the cow. You've got different size windows to use. You've got Utterly Missing You. Special day, have a Farmtastic day. It could be for an anniversary, under the weather, a birthday. I mean, it was well-rounded when they made those. And then I have this as well. I didn't keep that out. Hang on. Okay, this is a Doris die cut embossing, whatever. But it's chicken wire. I think that's the name of it, isn't it? Chicken wire background. Yeah. So I cut 2 of these out because I can cut them down and highlight things like where the chicken's at or something like that to add to my scene. Oh, so let me get off here and figure out what paper I want to have on the background of all this that's going to work the best for me. And I want to thank everybody for coming to visit to see what I'm doing today. You can decorate these up as much and as differently as you want to. I thought I would make it to go with my farm journal, so it's got to kind of go along those lines. Whereas the other one, I think, was more of a shabby chic, I guess. All right, well, I'll be right back. Now, I know you've been waiting for me to give you the dimensions on this thing, which it's 8 inches tall, 11 inches wide, and I scored it, which the smaller score, I think, is on this side. It goes to 3.5 and then 7.25. Now, you can flip it either way. You know, if you wanted to open the other way in your book, you would do it the other direction. But this is the taller piece. The one that is the shorter is the one that's going to be the flip out part. So it's going to fold exactly like this. This is the part that gets glued down as a tuck on your other side. And then this is the part that gets the edges rounded, I think I did. But I have decided that I'm going to put this piece of the file folder in there. I am going to round this corner. I think it needs to be rounded with this one. So let's try that. Yep, that looks pretty decent. Okay, and then I'm going to glue it down to where this is actually a tuck. Plus, it's also going to be able to be a flip, like a tab, to help me flip that out, as you can see. Because this part's going to wrap around your page like that. And then it's going to stick out just that much. Now, if you didn't want it to stick out that much, you can cut it down a little bit more. I am not too sure I like it being that tall, so we're going to cut a little bit more off of it. All right, I think I like that better. It's not sticking out as far from the edge of the paper, because that's going to stick out of your book, you know. And you have this one little piece here that's not quite matching up. Well, that's okay, because you'll probably cover it with paper. Unless you would like to have an outline edge to it. You can also cut that part off. You have many choices here. Now, this is the book that I have chosen. Now, of course, these dimensions will be in the description box, so don't forget to look down there. This is the Paper Studio by Hobby Lobby. Theodosia Square, which has... I wanted to have some lighter colored papers in here to highlight my chickens and stuff. And then these are some cool ads and stuff that might also look really good in here. You just got to make sure your color scheme works as well, which that works pretty good with the truck and with this. And then you have stripes. I saw one in here I really liked. Where did that go? I mean, that something light like that, but that green does not, it doesn't go. I did like something like that, because that's got your blue, and it's a very light background. Oh, and well, that's a green as well. It doesn't really go. So, yeah, and then you got stuff like that that has an overall... I really love this book. I've gotten it several times. I've seen where Celeste has also gotten it. Not, I'm sorry, Celeste, I said your name. I meant to say Lorette. Lorette from the Vintage Paper Girl. I have seen her get this book as well. Now, you know, that looks pretty good. So, it's going to be one between the two here. So, let's pick them out and see what we think we need to do with it. We can always stick them back in the book. And that one went right here. I think that will be the two that will set the story for us, so to speak. Okay, well, let us go ahead, and since my piece is going to have this extra on it right here, I definitely need to cover this base down here with something that's a contrast. And I think this blue right here would do the trick. And That's the thing you always have to do. You've got to cover your pieces. Now, I left a little bit of an edge on that other one. So you could see, I did ink it. So you can ink the edge and leave a drop shadow kind of effect like that. Or you could cover it all the way out. It just depends on what you want to do. Now with this piece, I'm just going all the way out. And we are going to see about using a little bit of glue stick on it and stick it down that way. Gotta go dig for something to put the glue stick on. Okay. So I hope everybody is doing well and having a great spring day. Boy, it's spring like here. It's about in the 50s. About 51, I think. So really warm. Me and Mom had to go to Verona. I had to go mail some Happy Mail. Bunch of Happy Mail. I had to also, oh, look, I got to the end of my thing. I had to also mail out what I've made for my 5-item swap challenge with the girls. So I got that out in the mail to them. All right, let's stick this down here and use my credit card here to rub it down. And if that's not sturdy enough, I don't think it is. I'm going to use this bone folder. Okay. I guess that glue stick has had it. But this is the type of glue stick I use. It's the disappearing purple. I find it sticks fine for me. Some people like other glue sticks, which actually I'm going to go and use this other one. This one, the Tombow. I've heard this glue is really good. I've never heard of it having a glue stick, though. So we're going to start trying that. It's fast drying glue and permanent. So that might be good. Okay, I'm also going to go around here to the back side and cover it as well, because it's going to be visible out in the back side of this. Shoo, trying to start this thing. It's kind of gummy. Let's hope it turns out. Okay. Well, I was trying to think of some old something to tell you about here. Well, we have I had heard about when you go to visit, like this is a nice spring day, you know, people might got out in their Model T Fords or whatever to go visit their family. You know, back then they didn't have very many roads. And the roads that, you know, they did have took you over mountains and down into valleys and all this kind of stuff. So anyhow, they would need something to eat. And I had heard, I don't know how this works, but I had heard that what they would do is they would take a whole chicken, dress it, and all this kind of stuff. Put vegetables in there and anything else that might cook. You know how we'll do an aluminum foil kind of a wrap? That's about what they did. So they would take it and they would put it inside of the engine there on the top of the manifold. I think it's what they called it. And they would put it in there. Now, of course, you know, I'm explaining how bad the roads were and how long they were back then. They weren't express. They didn't get you there quick. Well, that's what happened. I mean, these people would be traveling 2 to 3 hours to get to their destination. Maybe even more. And what they would do is they would have this chicken cooking on top of the manifold while the engine's running and taking them down the road. I'm going to actually leave that as a straight for right now. So yeah, they would have a ready-made meal right there. As soon as they got almost to the destination, they may pull off somewhere and just all eat their picnic and stuff, so they weren't burdening their guests. I mean, not guests, but their family that they're going to see, or their friends. And there were, you know, they weren't ravenous as soon as they got there, kind of a situation. So anyhow, I always thought that was such an interesting concept to to hear about. Now here's where we're going to cut this down just a little bit, and where we can glue that down to where you won't see that little extra piece. There we go. I can get back in here and trim it a little better later. But there you go. See? So it's not that little piece showing. I can always cut that off, but oh well. You know me. So now we got that one covered. He's ready to go. Now we're going to start with another one. We're going to go with the other pattern to cover this one, which it's still a pretty light pattern, so I think we're going to do good. So I always liked that idea. I used to always look out the window when I'm traveling and I'll see an old abandoned house somewhere and get fascinated by it, and I'll come up with stories in my head about how they lived and what they did there and that kind of thing. It's just, I guess, my imagination. I used to want to write, but I read enough to be able to write, but my English is atrocious. I was never good in English. Now, vocabulary, I ate that up like breakfast. I ate any kind of vocabulary things. Oh, I loved it. And we had this thing in school where we would have so many points or something. You had these vocabulary words each, I guess, week. You had a certain amount of them, and you would have a point, like if you were reading and you would find it in a book somewhere, you had to write down the word, you had to write down the sentence that it was used in. You know me, I'm eating up these Harlequins romances and anything science fiction. Oh my Lord, I love science fiction. So I had this one girl. Now she was a smart girl, and some weeks she would win, but more often than not I would. I guess I ate up more Harlequins. Oh, poor little girl. I think she graduated as one of our officers. Me, not so much. Oh my goodness. Now the only thing is with wet glue, you get a little bit of a bow with it. But yeah, you want to get in here maybe and do a little inking. Like this edge would need to be inked because you're not going to be able to get in there once you glue the extra section down. And you know me, I can't do the same thing twice. It seems like I just can't. And I think I'd explained that to somebody before, but we're going to also do this little corner right here, this fold out, just to get it on there. Yeah. So of course I'm adding this extra piece, and I do have a little bit of place here just to get the yellow part off, though the yellow might go with the whole theme. There we go. I think I'm going to have to go down to the shop tomorrow and get me another book for our sneaky peeks, because that one's gone. Okay, do I want to? Yeah, I think I'll have the same thing on this side as well, where you'd open up and you'd have the same scene. Okay. Now, we don't have to worry about this piece here, because that one is getting glued down. That's the part that's being glued to the back side for your tuck. So, remember that. You can put an X on it if it helps you remember easier. You're not going to see it. I do know that I did not put a thumb pull into it, which you may not need to, because it's going to stick up so much because of the thickness of the file folder, that you may not need that. I don't know why this is turning this pink. As you can see, I'm using some of the obituaries that I found as my extra pieces to glue with. I thought that would save some money, you know, or save some of my book page for other items. Gosh, let's see if I can Get that down just right. Come on. I don't want it to be that quick. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, it said it was a quick grabbing glue. I was hoping I had a little bit of wiggle room there. Okay, there we go. I love the colors in this. The blue and that pink. And that might be shabby chicy. Alright, let's see if that will do the trick. Come down through here like this. Oop, there we go. Now they don't match up, but that's okay because maybe some of this paper towel is going to go over that. Sorry, I said paper towel, but I meant napkin. Okay, so we've got those two pieces done. This piece is done because I covered it on the back side. I think it goes either way. Yeah, I think that's the way I had it. And then we need to cover this piece and this piece. And then we'll have it ready to go for the next step. And I guess we're just going to go ahead and make this one blue, so the blue and the blue goes together, you know. And then this piece will be that one because it's going to be on the other side. All right. I think I'll do it like that. They're not really going to match up, but I'm okay with it. How about you? Okay. Set that out of the way. We have to get in here and do our middle section. Now, my mom and dad, and me, see, Mom's family came from Bath County, Virginia. That's where they're from. And we still had her sister and brother over there that we would always go to visit. And we would do kind of the same thing as the older generation did with the chicken. But what Dad would do, he would stop at this mom and pop kind of a store on the way over. It was just a little store, and it's still there to this day, but it's not a store. They're making it into a place to live, I suppose, is what this situation is. Now here, I don't want to put this down and have to cut around it. Oh, I can, because I can fold that. All right, never mind. So that will be easy for us to do. Yeah. Now, if you'd rather cut it out and have it ready and shaped just right, that's fine. But what I'm thinking is all I gotta do is cut it off at the bottom down here, and then I'll fold it shut and cut it again. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, and then we're going to cut this like this. There we go. Now, if you'd rather, you could wrap that all the way around there and glue it again. Just depending on what piece you use, because it looks like I cut this piece at the top, and it wouldn't work. Unless you use that part where you're going to put a pocket. The pocket would hide it. All right, I think we're done with that. And we have that piece set. We're going to actually give it a little bit of ink. We'll do the outside edges with ink here in a minute. I do want to make it kind of aged looking, so we definitely want that. Okay, this piece was definitely going to have this part right there. This piece was already covered by that, so don't worry about that. All right, now we have this that we're going to do, and we got the same situation. We're able to bend that and cut it after we've already glued it down. Okay, back to Dad. Okay, Dad would go in the store, and he would buy a loaf of bread, and then he would take, and they had cold cuts. So he would get cheese sliced real thick. We have some thick sliced cheese, and then he would get cloth bologna. Now, I don't know if you've got another name for that kind of bologna. It was real grainy. I'm sure some of you older ladies like me remember it. It was real grainy in taste, and it always had like a red, I think it had like it wasn't like the red rind that's on the plastic that's on the bologna nowadays. It had threads in it. So I think that's why we always called it cloth bologna. So anyhow, you would take, and he would get slices of that cut up for each of us. We would also get a drink, and then we get a little cake to eat. And that filled out our meal. So we would go and take that, and we would get all the way to the top of the mountain and get ready to come down into Bath County. Now, I don't know if anybody's heard of Bath County, Virginia. That is where the hotel is. Now, about all of Mom's family has worked at the hotel. My uncle, her brother, worked there as a golf caddy. I think her other brother, before he joined the Air Force, he had worked there as a golf caddy. Mom's dad worked there as a mechanic in the garage, and he was also, I guess you'd call him a taxi driver. He would drive some of these people over to like the airport in Allegheny County and stuff like that. Her sister-in-law and her sister were maids there. I mean, presidents have gone over to this place, and they've stayed. It's very well renowned. Okay, I think we need to ink now. This is pretty good stuff. I'm just curious why it's turning this pink when I'm putting it down. But other than that, that's pretty good. It's doing a pretty good job. All right, I'm going to get in here and ink around this one. And some of the pieces of your file folder that you have, we might go ahead and just use them as pockets. Because I don't need to show you how to make another one of those little notebooks. So that will be what we do with that. So what should I call that? A one file folder wonder? Where I'm going to be using almost all of the file folder. That's kind of cool. Okay, I got to do this side as well. Well, that side I only needed to do the upper part and got to talking. Okay. Yeah, so anyhow, we went over there not long ago. Her one sister, her youngest sister, came in, oh, this was probably 10 years ago. She lives over in Kentucky, up near Cincinnati, Ohio. But anyhow, she wanted to come and see because, you know, she was there when she was young. And then, you know, they moved to Texas. She moved to Texas to live with the brother that went to the Air Force. And anyhow, she wanted to see a little bit of home again. So we went sightseeing and looking at everything. And yeah, she had a good time. But we went into the hotel and toured it to see what all was in there and see what all we could see. That place is busy. Now, Mom's grandfather, the what do you call it? The landmark part of this hotel is the big clock tower that stands about 5 stories tall. It's really up there. Now, it's burnt down a couple times, at least once, I know. So, her dad, or granddad, I mean, had worked on this clock tower. He was a carpenter. I'll get it out. Yeah, he was a carpenter. So, he built the clock tower. And I think this was before the first fire. But, yeah, that's something to have on your resume. It's kind of interesting. But it's kind of in the back of beyond, you know. And I guess that's why the presidents and stuff like to go there. It was real private, though it does have a really big golf course. And they're skiing there now, too. I don't know if that was way back when, but yeah, they got to do some skiing. I know you're saying, why is she doing all this inking? She just keep going. I can't remember where I've stopped and started. I think that's it, though. I think that's it. All right, so next, we're going to glue this down to here. And that's going to be our little extra tuck. It doesn't look like it. No, that's the wrong side. Sorry, guys. That is the one that is on the opposite paper. The opposite side of the page, I mean. This is the one that goes in, because I know I had a little lip there. So you can use and do this lip, or you don't have to. It's up to you. I just saw a chance to use a little different style, and I thought I would do that. And that's okay. If you want to make this your own and do it a different way, or leave out a step, or however, you know, it's up to you. It's your make. It's however you want to make it, what makes you happy. If you want to start small and practice, you know, getting more skilled at things. If you're just starting out doing junk journals, you know, it's all of those things. And I got a little bit out of line there. Whoops. And then I'm going to tap it. Yeah. It was sticking just a little below there. And I'm tapping it to get it in there. Yeah, that's lined up now. Good job. Okay. Put a little more ink there. And I'm going to burnish it down with a little bit of bone foldering. Oh, does look like it's sticking out a little bit, but I am okay with that. I am okay. Okay. You can open it up and do some more rubbing. Now, if you need to trim, you can always trim if you don't like it. Which you could ink it and make it the same situation. Yeah, that covers up that. And I think that side is fine. Okay, so we have this nice little tuck spot here. And we might want some pockets. First off, let's figure out what we're doing with our chickens and stuff. They're going to probably go down also with some of that sticky glue stick. I get it right. All right, I think I'd like this chicken on one of these. Oops. Okay. So we're going to pluck him out of here and cut him out first before we go anywhere else. Doesn't have to be neat because he's getting cut down. All right. And then we need to get the paper off there. Oh, goodness, I'm all over my craft room. Then you want to get a little bit of Scotch tape, and to get the layers off. Well, that came off easy that way some. Okay. And then you're going to pick up the second layer. There's always, wow, I can tell you that came off smooth. Whew. All right. Our chicken. Maybe we'll bury our chicken back in here. And we'll have him about right there. And then what we'll do is we'll cut around him and have him kind of a rippy kind of a design there. All right. Where is my... Hang on just a second. I have to get my water brush here that we can go around him and rip him out. And he will rip out really easy. I'll get the water everywhere. I like that it has Paris on here. Okay, let's see if we can rip that out now. Almost took his head off there. Whoopsie. But yeah, your water brush will make the job so much easier. You just have to watch, because I squirted out a little bit more water than I wanted. So I got to make sure I don't lose any of the image that I wanted to keep. But yeah, napkins, sometimes they're hard to find, and sometimes they're easy to find. So just keep looking, I guess. And sometimes you can get them on the Etsy's. Some people sell them, you know. All right, I think we're going to use the rotisserie, so I need to rip around that and use that later. I ain't going to worry about watering it. Yeah, so I forgot to finish the story about the food. So, yeah, Dad would get all his food, and we'd stop at that mountain right up above before we dropped down into Bath County. And oh my gosh, I don't know if it was the height, the fresh mountain air, but that was the best food. Yum. I mean, we just gobbled that stuff up, and it was so good. But yeah, it was some good memories. And, you always have some good memories to have to grow up with and remember things by. All right, how you like our chicken? Or you think you should be out on this one? That one I think is smaller. So we're going to put our chicky chick right there. We are going to find us a pocket. Let me get one of those pieces that I was talking about. Okay, I've got that piece of file folder I had on the end. I've cut that flush so I don't have any of these weird little indentations. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to see how far I want to make my pocket. And it's going to go in there just like that. And we'll go like this. And I'm going to have the same pocket over here. So I'll just measure that. And I'll have those both cut at the same dimensions. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut these two pockets for more of the file folder. And we got to cut us a thumb pull at the top. I'm going to put them together and see if I could do it at the same time so they're about even. So we're going to do it right here, and you try to match up as close as you can to the center. Oh, okay, that's not going to happen, but I've made my mark. So yeah, it's a little too tough to do. Yeah, I can see it in this one as well. There we go. And then you just put your little bit more ink on there to finish it off. There. I thought that would save us some time. I'm going to go ahead and cover these before I put them on. And I'm going to go ahead and put this chicken on here. So we're going to go ahead and put our glue about like that. And I think he came down to about here. See if that works. And then it's good to have a card like this to kind of rub out. Be very gentle because it'll rip easy. Now, if you want to leave little edges up like that, I think that would be really rustic looking. So most of your chicken is down that you need it to be down. So yeah, you can go up underneath of there with a little bit of wet glue with a nozzle kind of a deal. I'm going to leave it as is. All right. And with these two pieces, I want to go ahead and put this little bit of, I can't remember what you call this stuff. Corduroy? No, it's not corduroy. I know it's a little bold for that side, but I thought what I would do is try to put rotisserie across here since it's a small area and I can't get it all on there. I don't want to cover this completely though. We'll just do a small area down here at the bottom. Whoops. And I sort of ripped that so it would be a little bit jaggedy. Yeah, that's good. And we're going to do the same over here. I don't want the black too bold on here to take over. I just needed it to be a backdrop. Hopefully I got those lined up, but I don't know if I did. Okay. We know how careful I am. Alright, let me cut this on the outside. Get that cut down and I can see where to go with the lettering. Sorry if I'm off screen. I always like to hang over to the right so that the trash will fall. But I learned early on that, everybody needs to see what is going on. So I always try to do everything within your eyesight. All right. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So now, yes, our rotisserie. Where am I cutting it in half? About right there. There we go. And then we'll have to get this on here. kind of like, ugh, that. There. And that's got the same situation, but in the opposite direction. Yeah, this is some good glue stick. If you are wanting to try some out, this is pretty good stuff. I need to get that even though. Even Steven. Okay, yeah. I don't have too much black, but I got just enough. That's how she rolls. Okay, so we'll get this one down here. Got a little bit to trim off. Now these pockets are not gusseted. If you don't know what a gusseted pocket is, it's usually where you have a little flap that will come over from the front side, and that's the part you're going to glue down. The reason you don't want a gusseted pocket is because you're wanting this to fold really nice and flat into your journal. And I think a gusseted pocket would hinder that. So, a very thin tag will fit in here. Now, if you wanted something to fit in here and you didn't want to have to fight it, you can also do a little pinch technique. Though I don't know if you can do that with this file folder. This is some sturdy stuff. Oh. I went over too far. Whoops. Easy fix, easy fix. We're just going to cut that part off, like right there. Re-ink it. See, easy fix. The thumb pull's not in the right place, but that's okay. There. That's all we had to do. See? And it's right on the money. Okay, so this part is done. I don't think I'm going to do anything else over here unless it be a little bit of stamping. And you know how it goes with me. You know, I'll think of something to do later on, and I'll usually show you what I end up doing in the next video, in case it's something that you didn't get to see. So that might be happening because I'm coming up to 47 minutes. All right, so what we want to do over here, this one I made for here, but I also could use one here. I didn't even think about that. So I love the little truck. So I think what I might just do is do the little truck here. If I run out of time, I'm explaining what I'm going to do. It's going to be the same thing I did to the other side. I'm going to cut down what pieces I want. I'm probably going to put some of the truck on here, and then have another pocket here with some more of the truck. Or do I want to do that? Maybe I'll just put my little chickie right here. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll have my little chicken on this lower edge here, and that's all I'll do. And then I'll have my little truck here, and the blues all work so well together there. And we're not seeing this at all, because this is actually tucking around to the other side. So that's not even visible. So yeah, I'm going to get that bright blue out of there. That's not going at all. But see, there's blue in his tail, so that would work really great. So that's going to be like that. And do I want to have a little bit of this sunflower in here? I'm debating, because there's summer flowers and no sunflowers. All right, I think we're going to skip the sunflower. Okay, I thought I would save a little time, and I went ahead and put this napkin with the trucks on it and inked around the outside edge, and that's going to go right there. And I think I know what I want to do with the rest of my background there. I've got my chicken all ripped out. He's going to go over to the side. And I got the chicken wire I still needed to use, so I wanted to take some time and show you what I plan to do with it. Now, if you wanted to have your thing gap, now it's actually gapping for me, But if you wanted to have it gap, you hold your fingers at the two bottom corners and you push in a little bit like this, and it gives it a little bit of a bow. So you're not fighting to put something down into that pocket, especially when it's a flat one like this. That's usually when you want to come across and do that. Now this here, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of figure out where I want to go with him. I think he goes this way and goes in a circle. Okay. See how well I can do that. And he's going to go here. And then you want to smooth him out just a little bit, real gently. Gently, gently. Okay, now over here where it's kind of still stuck up, you can actually get in here and roll your corner of your glue stick in there and try to get a little more. And if it doesn't do a good job that way, you get in here with your, like with this, and you just kind of push it up underneath there and squirt you a little glue out, and it does the trick as well. So either way, you can fix those edges if you don't want them to stick up. So there we go. Now what I want to do with this back scene is this. I'm going to probably do the barn back here, the silo and all that. But I want to show you how to do your other stuff here first. I'll probably put this down and kind of rip it. I'm going to rip it in and kind of just do this and that. I'm going to put a little bit on the other side. Wow, I didn't rip that very well, but you can get here and cut it if you do rather, instead of ripping it, because you are warping it a tad. Whoa. Okay, now if you don't want that big old border on there, you can take that off. I thought I'd leave it just so it's kind of there, and it's kind of giving the impression that the chicken is in the chicken wire. It's what I was going for. So what you would do is get in here and try to dot you as much around the outside edges as you can, and then do your inside. This is the part that's always takes the most when you're dyeing or gluing die cuts that are so intricate, like the butterfly I did. I posted that today. I'm actually filming one, and I posted one today, so that's usually how I try to do it. But you just kind of dibby-dabby a little bit here and there through the different sections, and hope that holds it down enough. Now I did this on some metallic paper that I got from Michael's. I was getting a lot of metallic there. It's like a burnished pewter. It's not a silver, I don't believe. I didn't want it to be bright. I wanted it to look just like chicken wire. So, and I like this background because I've used it for the bee stuff before too, because it looks like a beehive. So it's very, very versatile in what all you could do with it. Okay, so I don't have everything down, but that's okay. Oh, I got a little bit there somewhere. And then we're going to cut that, and then we're going to cut this. And yeah. So what did I need? Whoop, on the other side. I probably needed a little bit over here because I had another chicken. So that's where I could get fancy. And come down something like that. I need to watch out for my, there, if I wanted to use it down there. Or I could just take a tiny piece that I might not be using. Yeah, let's do it that way. Let's take this little piece right here, and we'll put that down there. And we'll put this piece right here to help delineate that line there as well. It's a little rough for wear, isn't it? Let's put this, use my tweezers this time. I get a little more control that way. I'm a little shaky a lot of times anymore, so that helps me. I'm sure Mom's out there in her garden doing her thing. We went out to eat at Verona when I went to deliver my envelopes to the mailbox. She was saying she didn't think she could get out there and work. Her stomach was so full. So I said, well, give it a little time to digest, and you can get right back out there when it gets nice and warm at 51. All right. So we got that piece there, ready to go. And then we got this little piece here, and I'm not going to use... That piece is not big enough to do anything with. So let's go over here to this piece. We're going to actually cut it out. And you can go back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, like that. We'll do it that way. And I'll cut this little tiny line. Yeah, I didn't even use all of that, did I? But that's okay. Yeah, like that. I need to get that little hairline fracture out of there. And see, I'll have it in both corners when it's open. Because this is part of my flip. I'm trying to figure out what to call this. A file folder flip out for your journal, I guess, would be the... Some stuff you got to try to figure out what to call it, where it'll give it the most attention. Okay, so we're going to go right here and put that down. And see, it adds a little bit to our area. Okay, let me figure out what I'm going to do next. Okay, I've took my Farmtastic stamp set, sorry, and I've kind of arranged my pieces on here. I wanted my weather vane here. I wanted my silo here, and I got my barn in here with a window and a door. And it's like ready to go, I hope. Let me turn this around. Yeah, I think it was rubbing, so it's level now. So all I'm going to have to do is get in here and stamp it with my VersaFine. I'll get it straight here in a minute. VersaFine pigment ink here, Onyx Black, which will help this stand out. And got it on my fingers. That's the way I roll. Anyway, I wanted to do a shout out today. I've left this almost to the last minute. Well, the shout out today is to Miss Ki-Young Shotwell. She is my design team mama. I really appreciate all the time and effort she took for me and put me on her design team. I really appreciate it. I need to get into another one of her kits to work with, and I think it's going to be for the farm journal. I've got an idea which one I want to use, so we will get to doing that here soon. I promised you that would be the next journal I did. A Farmer's Almanac journal is what it's going to be. So we will get into doing that. There we go. And we have a cow that I want to add into the scene. Can't have a farm without a cow. And we got chickens galore, but no cows. So let's get old Bessie on here. And she's going to be standing right here, right outside of the barn. Right there. Yep. And then we're going to have a lean-to that I want to use here. So, or no, I don't know if I can use them a lean-to now, because I got the... Oh, I can't do that. Okay, never mind. I can, do I have any grass on here? No, not on that one. I had grass on one of these other ones. This one here. So it's got grass, the Hey There one. Now, I'm probably going to get in here later and add some more words, add some more elements. You know the drill. I can't do it all at one shot. I get more ideas later on. Alright, so here's some grass. Actually, one's bigger than the other, but oh wow. Okay. We'll do that. So you kind of just stand it up there. And like this one. Put this down so I don't get it all the way off everywhere. And then you want to put a little bit underneath of elements like, say, the windmill, just so it looks like it's in the ground, you know. It's not just floating like that. And I need to do that over here as well with the silo. And I need to do one more. Okay, I think that's good. I can always draw a line under the cowl. Here, I'm trying to find something to draw on. So you could just draw like a little line out from the cow's feet, or whatever you put down. You can do like a little swiggle shadow, kind of like that, and it makes it look like it's there. Like we can do a swiggle shadow coming out from this foot here, and a little bit of a shadow coming out there. That kind of helps. Like you always got a pathway going into your barn. So we're going to do like a little shadow kind of a thing like that, with little tufts maybe of grass or dirt, that kind of thing. That's called my squiggle work. But I don't know if there was another set of stamps that I was going to put on the inside in here. I know I have a bucket I want to use. But the last thing we're going to put down is this belly band. While I throw appreciation again at Miss Keong. She's always so giving. She let me and Tommy, and I think there's a couple other ladies that may be on her design team. And she lets us get in there and get her product, and we figure out what we're going to use with it, and we'll promote her Etsy shop. And it helps her and it helps us, so it goes both ways. And she is very, very kind, always generous, and I really appreciate you, and you're a true friend. So thank you very much, girl. All right, we got the little bit of goodies here to show you. We have our belly band, which I thought would work the best here, because you can always come back in here later and put something in it with some kind of a detail. Now, this, is, of course, is to go into a journal. We'll use this book. This is what I used the other day to tell you about the tombstones. But this will go into your journal like this. And you're going to glue it down here and here and at the back side here to give it, you know, the added strength, like a C glue. If you didn't want to put the belly band in, you're able to put in like a thumb pull in a way, but the way I did that one over there, I did a pull on it so I could leave it flat. Now, when it's on this side, you're going to have it like this, and you can find anything and everything you want to put inside of here. I can probably put a nice word up here. That'd be a great spot for a word. Another one could go there, or on the actual tag itself, it goes down in here. You've got this side, which I've got a big, big pocket right there I can put something into, like a tall tag. We have more of the chicken wire, and another, something could go over here. I've still got these with the moo and the farm fresh and all that kind of stuff. So those are probably more than likely going to go on this side. But this is to be pulled out, just like that. And like I say, you want to glue it along that edge just so it holds. And whatever you put in your pocket's not going to come out. But yeah, it goes like this. Now you want to keep training it to fold. And when it's already in your book, the weight of the book is going to also keep it shut. So yeah, you just want to keep it going in that one fold. That's the only one that's really going to be working. So I thought that turned out pretty good. I love this Paris and this chicken. Oh, and that black. See the black? You needed something bold and black down here to balance out this chicken. So that's why I did this little... You'll figure out what it's called and tell me, won't you? Because I can't remember it. Paisley corduroy, I don't know. Anyhow, so I hope you got an idea what to do here. And check out the next video where I'll probably have this more detailed, and I will explain it more and show you what I come up with for it. Okay, everybody have a great, great day. Thank you to all my subscribers and viewers, and I'll come back again sometime. Bye-bye.